Sarkar, just I want to ask you one question. Do you think there will be ever another Amitabh Bachchan?
I mean, why do people think like that?
What is exactly Bachchan? I don't know. If he's 6 inches shorter, would he become Bachchan? I don't know.
Sorry, Ramu, but this is a stupid question. Sorry, Ramu, but this is a...
Make your joke again, the whatever one you were making.
Krish.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Welcome back to Queen is Dead. I'm Sanjeet and I have Dhruv and Karthik with me, and we have Arijit on the show, who's the guest. And this is part 2, and we are recording for the fifth time.
Third. Yeah.
Today, no, in general, I think this is the fifth
Oh,
time
yeah,
we started
from the-
recording.
Mhm.
Fifth time that we are recording. Due to technical difficulties, we can't put out the second part, so this will serve as the second part. Karthik, are you there? Oh, Karthik is gone, kya? Okay. Anyway,
Somewhere, yeah.
one of our hosts, Karthik, is missing. Like how Dhruv.
Hey, you can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Ah, I
Yes.
can hear you now. Karthik,
Yeah,
hello,
I
hello,
was
hello.
on mute.
Hello,
I
welcome,
pressed
sir.
mute
Hello.
by mistake.
Hello,
yeah.
sir. Party. Huh.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
Karthik,
up, dudes?
Chill, dude. Chill. Party's good.
Fuck yeah, bro. Berlin Alexanderplatz. FTW.
Is that your recommendation?
Yeah. That's my only
So-
recommendation.
So this is the recommendation episode where we'll recommend stuff that you watched in September and that we'd like you to watch as well. Like we'll force it down your throats. The August recommendations will come out in the form of Instagram post. So make sure to check that out. Okay, Karthik, recommend. Start.
Why?
Come on.
Why me?
I mean,
Why?
you should ask yourself why, but not.
Guys, do you like watching movies in the theater or on laptop?
Oh, guys.
We've never talked about this before. It's a new topic.
Yeah, seems like a fresh topic. Yeah. So what do you think? Karthik?
Which
Don't
movie did you watch in the cinema or the laptop? Karthik?
I like watching Lars von Trier movies about serial killers in the theater.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And what on the laptop then?
Like
Marvel.
same thing.
Okay.
Marvel.
So
Oh,
you
yeah,
are saying
Marvel.
that
Bro,
you
Marvel movies are so good in the laptop. Has anyone said this before? Is this an unpopular opinion?
Yeah.
It's an unsaid opinion at least. So
Yeah.
copyright
Unsaid
claim.
is,
I haven't seen any, but like I'm hoping to watch a few.
what do you
I
have
think
in
it'll be...
So all these, and Karthik, did you watch Mulholland Drive on iPhone?
Yeah, man. I did. That's the way it's meant to be watched. David Lynch messaged me.
Bro, Lynch will haunt you in your dreams. That Mulholland
Lynch will
Drive.
literally, like, if he finds you, lynch you. He will like become like.
Yeah.
His
I mean,
name
Yeah.
will no
that's
more be a metaphor.
Yeah.
makes so much sense now. Like, Karthik, so do you have an answer for your why?
What?
That's what you. What?
That's the answer for the why. What?
Yes,
Uh,
let's get back to topic, guys. What are we doing in this episode? Please
We are
explain.
recommending stuff. So I asked you to recommend stuff what you watched in September.
But why are you putting me on the spot?
Because you're number one.
Okay, guys, I didn't watch anything in September.
Shut up.
This is,
You-
this
you
is what you
watched-
want to start off with.
Yeah, because then
watch-
we'll go uphill, no? Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just watched some TV shows. I saw Curb Your Enthusiasm season 4, and I saw
Wow.
some Simpsons and some other stuff. Okay, what else?
What about Family Guy?
No, I just saw some clips of Family Guy on YouTube.
Acha. And what about your what is the new Hotstar?
Berlin Alexanderplatz. Oh, which?
We were just talking about in the previous recording.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Martin and
Oh yeah,
yes.
the only
What
murders in the building.
That you watched, no?
Yeah, I saw till episode 5. I have 2 more episodes, I think, or 2 or
But
3.
Is it good till episode?
Yeah,
5?
it's pretty good. It's like time pass. If you like those guys, you'll like it.
Okay.
No.
They're
Great
they're like
Great.
classic, like, comedy actors. If you've seen like Three Amigos and all, you'll like it. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay,
Karthik,
Karthik.
I have a question. Like you said, do you prefer
Yeah.
watching in theater and laptop? So my question is, do you prefer binge watching or do you prefer one episode at a time?
Very good
Yeah.
question.
Good
How
question,
Karthik
you
is
bro.
should
thinking
do
now.
it. This is
Karthik is
how.
thinking finally.
Yeah. Can we use truncate silence in Audacity?
No, truncate silence. You answer it now.
Um, let me think. I actually binge watched this show because it was like very light. Like there were like stakes and all, but it didn't feel like it was high stakes. But I think the shows I really liked, I didn't binge watch. Like say something like Better Call Saul and all.
Hmm.
I think I just saw one episode and then like I waited, then saw the
I
next episode.
mean, could you binge watch a show like Better Call Saul?
I did for the I caught up like after it started, like maybe when season 4 was going on.
Okay.
And then obviously I had to wait till the new episode came out.
No, I'm
But
not
the
saying like that.
yeah.
I'm saying like since you said Better Call Saul, say something like a Breaking Bad. So suppose like you start watching Breaking Bad. Obviously, all of us started watching it after it had finished. So
Yeah.
you binge it or do you like? You can't.
No, I was seeing it while it was going on, like
Karthik
from
was
season
watching
4.
it. Yeah.
matlab somewhere around that. But I'm saying like you can't like. Can you like watch something like a Breaking Bad or a Game of Thrones one episode at a time?
I did see Breaking Bad, but I don't know. I don't know if like was binge watching even a term back then.
It was very much.
I saw like till season 3 I definitely binge watched, and then like I saw everything all over again before the season 4 came out. But let me think, you know.
Yeah.
Can we
No,
take
it's
5
actually
minutes
a very
to
deep
think?
question.
No. You don't have
No
time.
silence,
Sorry.
but like
We have truncate silence on Audacity, you know.
I am not truncating this time. I'm not even editing. I'm just literally taking this and putting it out now. Okay.
Okay. But,
Until
okay,
then-
Sanjeet, what is one show you have binge watched?
Binge watched.
Scam
I-
1992.
I didn't binge watch it. I can't binge watch.
No, but wait, I have a question. Like it's like Breaking Bad is like whatever, like 5 seasons, 6 seasons long, right? So it's harder to binge watch. What about like mini series? Like you have like the Midnight Mass recently by Mike Flanagan and like Haunting of Hill
Squid Game.
House, Squid Game. So like, is that like is that better to like binge watch in general? Because like it's basically in between like a TV show and a film format, right?
I got one. I just thought of one show I binge watched, which is one of my favorite shows. This is Barry, which is just 25 minutes long.
Oh, that's
Barry, I
a
was watching
fantastic show.
every week.
Yeah.
So
I watched
Barry,
it
I
in 2 days.
couldn't-
Finished it in 2 days, Barry.
Yeah,
finished.
same.
Barry, I was watching every week, so I couldn't binge on that.
Except Ronnie and Lily. I saw that and then I saw it again like 2-3 times.
And then you cried, and then you watched again.
Yeah, I cried. What?
I think the only show, like I asked this question because I always think that I won't binge, but I always end up doing that. Only show I did not, or perhaps I could not, was The Wire. I haven't watched full, just one season. So The Wire, I had thought that but I like I don't know what, like I just watched one episode and then it's like no, I can't watch now. I have to think and all. So that was the only show. Otherwise, everything. But unless it was, I mean, like Game of Thrones, when I started watching, it was still airing every Monday, so that I could not. But other shows, all of which had released, and I think the binge watching thing came. I mean, it became a thing after Netflix became a big thing because they always
started
release,
releasing everything, no?
everything
the
in a
same
bunch together. So
I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
You shut up. You saw it till 4 seasons, 5 seasons.
No, like one
yeah,
season.
that's enough. You don't need to watch after that.
One season.
It just goes downhill. Uske baad.
You don't say. No, I've binged on like Delhi crime and Chernobyl and stuff like that.
Yeah, all those
But
are fine now.
I started watching this thing very recently, Sopranos, which I was watching like very slowly in the beginning, like one episode per day type, or like maybe max 2 episodes. But yesterday I binged on like 10 episodes in one night.
Let me guess, you saw till the season 2 finale.
Yeah, I finished season 2. I watched season 3 first episode also.
Yeah.
But now I didn't
Just
watch anything.
guessing.
Oh, okay, guessing and all. Huh?
No, this actually, I think Netflix. I'm not going to speak anymore because the Netflix people are going to say like, "Arey yaar, ye
Huh?
Arijit ko
Netflix,
bulate
please
hain."
sponsor. Otherwise, we'll talk
Yeah,
shit.
they'll
As
like
if it
they
matters.
call Arijit to just bash us because I would say because no, actually I think Netflix instilled this habit because I still remember when it came. Narcos was the first Netflix show I watched. I binged it.
Okay.
Then there was House of Cards. Again, I binged it.
House of Cards. Yeah,
Then-
even that. I was.
Yeah.
I still watch like one episode per day. At
So
that point,
these
it
two
was
was there was one more series at that point of time Netflix. Oh, Stranger Things. Again, I
Hmm.
binged. So yeah, because actually I asked the question because of that because I think Netflix is like they release it together. Otherwise, HBO shows are one a week. So generally, you don't get.
Do you
But
think that one a week helps though?
I think because when I was watching Watchmen,
Hmm.
so that was helpful.
Yeah,
I mean,
1 week per week. I was
Ah.
watching Watchmen every week. It came. Yeah.
but it's
Dhruv,
so
like-
strange that like people are more ready to watch a limited series versus like a longer movie, right? Like I always find that very strange almost. Like it's
I
like
think
it's easier to
structurally-
watch.
But
always.
TV series isn't really. It has like a lot to talk and like it can like has that liberty to move around the whole drama and everything also, right? If
No,
it's
but
a well-made thing.
I
Just
think it's
saying.
also to do with like, you know, that 1 hour episode is like
Mhm.
your mindset is like, oh, I'm just watching 1 hour, and then it's like, oh, I can take like whatever 2 minutes break,
I
and
can-
then
I can
I can
watch.
resume it.
Awesome.
Unless you're watching Too Old to Die Young.
Then you
Winding
take 4
Refn.
breaks in
Oh
the first
God,
episode
I
itself.
forgot about that. The Nicholas Winding Refn thing.
Yeah, I
right?
watched like 2 episodes and I stopped watching. I was
Yeah,
like,
I've the
today's not
same
the
thing,
day.
same thing. Yeah. Same.
I thought I'll watch it sometime later in life only. I couldn't because it's like I don't know. He's like full indulgent in that.
Like
show,
what?
right?
Full slow cinema almost, right? Like
Yeah.
very
Full on,
much.
full on. Like every short pace, like the not just the short length, the pace of every shot is also like very, very slow.
I remember, but see, I guess the good thing about it is I do remember like the first episode. There's one scene which is like a long
I know what you're talking about.
interrogation between
I know.
what's the guy's
Yeah.
name, Miles Teller, and
Miles Teller.
and yeah,
Hmm.
and the other character, and it just goes on and on and on. Which I think sometimes it's helpful because like you know tension building and everything. But yeah, I also got turned off because of like whatever he does his excesses.
Excessive,
Like he's so inspired by Lynch. It's so like obvious sometimes that
Obvious,
it's
yeah.
like distracting.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's well, I
But
can't
that's-
speak about the show because I haven't seen
That's
it.
against the type of Winding Refn. Na? Matlab, he's generally very slick and smooth and fast and all that thing. Matlab, if it's slow, then it's just going against his usual
I-
approach.
I think the surfaces and all are still slick and glowing, and like it's got like his traditional lighting and like
Yeah,
his.
even
No, that
only
too will
God
happen because
Forgives
of
is
his
pretty
Yeah.
slow
visual.
in that sense, no?
Uh-huh.
Only
No,
God
but like
Forgives.
I remember Neon Demon also had a very like for at least the first half,
Ah,
which is the
uh-huh.
part I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really love, is like the part where like it's very slow and deliberate, and then it goes crazy by the end,
Huh.
and which is where
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually enjoy it. So yeah.
Yeah, even I quite liked the second, but yeah, I think that's his more. I think that's what he's trying to do at least, like the whole slow thing purposefully. I think I don't know, maybe,
Maybe you can do that. Yeah.
but
People
Yeah.
who have watched it can tell us.
very few. I feel only like hardcore.
Yeah, but there's I
Indian
thought there's
fans.
a fair amount of NWR fans.
Fair,
He
good
has a
enough,
like
good
totally
enough,
cult
yeah.
following. Full
Yeah.
like
William Friedkin is
And-
also part of it.
yeah. And in NWR has this. He's also like, I mean, he has this wide range of tastes. So he has this whole curated. He curates these
Oh
hidden
yeah,
gems,
yeah.
trashy B
Uh,
movies, which are
he-
actually great. I mean,
Yeah.
there is this website by NWR.
Oh.
And I
Oh,
don't know if
right,
it's-
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's free anymore or not. But when I had registered, it was free, and there was like
yeah. Long back,
I
I
found out-
checked it on long back. Yeah.
and a lot of these B films, so-called trashy films,
Yeah.
and exploitation films, B horror, and they were like great. I mean, I was like, wow. So
I mean, I think I've only seen the one that Movie had curated once, a list that he had
Oh.
curated on Movie.
Yeah, I saw
NWR.
3 of them.
yeah.
They were
How were they?
horrible.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, they were literally just it was like exploitation, softcore stuff.
Porn?
Torture
Okay.
Yeah,
porn.
even softcore porns. Like there's this film, Orgy of the Dead. So
Yeah,
My
yeah.
God, it's like
Yeah.
full necrophilia or what?
yeah. I mean, I don't want to give out if people want. Like, it's like crazy film, man.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think, but it's like people who love. That's a acquired taste kind of thing. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like completely style. Like, I mean, I style like properly indulgent stuff, which I mean, I guess we all like indulgent filmmakers to some
Yeah,
extent,
yeah,
right? So yeah.
definitely. Most of us.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
coming back
move
to recommendations.
recommendations. Yes, Sanjeet, you are going first, or
No,
Arijit
you
is
go
going
first.
first.
Arijit, you go first.
Yeah.
No, you go first. I'll come later. Like, I'll
Okay.
say later.
Fine.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah,
I don't
Sanjeet,
really have
you
a
go.
lot to talk. Like I also didn't watch a lot last month. But a fair amount of, I think, decent to good, great films I watched. So the three films that I'll like to recommend are, okay, I'll try to keep it like as diverse as possible. So I may have watched maybe more, but I'll just try to keep it different languages. So one I'll recommend is Close Up, which I finally watched, the one directed by Bas Kiarostami, which I think we discussed about in the Q&A and the unreleased unreleased recommendation episode. But so I've not seen a lot of Iranian cinema. So this is like my second Iranian film, and Close Up, I think I'm a part of a lot of film groups, and their Close Up is like a very cult thing, not just cult. I think it's worshipped in a sense. So I finally watched Close Up, and then I realized I really liked it. I mean, on the surface level, you can just say it's a very, very good film. It's an excellent film. But there's like so much to talk about in general. Like I maybe I viewed it in a slightly different sense. Like people were, from whatever people's reactions were, I thought they were like very emotional with the film. I thought it's like full deceit it's like full deception in terms of it's making fun of you. Like that you get emotional when you're asked to get emotional. Like you can get easily manipulated into the whole emotional thing. I am 100% sure that that may not have been the intent of Mr. Kiarostami, but I sort of was looking at it in a sense that maybe someone could just make a meta film about how easy it is to fool people with filmmaking tools and into this kind of filmmaking. I don't know, just my interpretation. Obviously, it's great and everything. There's like a lot to talk about. I mean, whatever. It's a
No,
classic. Right?
no, but whatever you're saying, like I think I also felt that it's all that. Like I think we had discussed this a little bit once you had seen it also, where I was like,
not in detail though.
not in detail, but I remember you saying that it's more to do with like the deceitful nature, and I think it's all that definitely, because that's what Kiarostami also goes ahead and does a lot with his films. Isn't I've not seen
anything
24.
apart from this,
I know, but I myself haven't seen 24 frames, but I know in that he's playing with like photography, filmmaking, and like realism. Like I think he's very fascinated by the whole divide between realism and film, and like how
cinematic
film
realism.
right, like the whole docu-fiction element of it almost.
Yeah, I mean that's
What
what he's
about
known
the ending of Taste of Cherry, guys?
I have
I
not
haven't
seen,
watched,
so
so no comments.
don't. Yeah, no.
I have
comments.
watched it, but I will be very happy for people to tell me how I make sense of it, because I don't know how to make sense of it.
But just tell me, did you like it or no?
I loved Taste of Cherry till the ending.
Achha, okay, let that can be a topic for discussion later on.
Yeah.
No, but
Anyway.
Sanjeet, you have a like that point is very interesting. This like deceitful thing with films, because he's also named it Close Up, the close up shot.
Yeah.
And most of it we see those where he confesses and all that. It moves to a very like close. And the best part for me was in the ending when he comes and he says, it's not a spoiler, if anyone wants to skip
no
and they can.
spoilers.
But, so there was this scene where he comes and he says he rings the bell and he says he gives his name, and they cannot recognize. Is it who? and
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah,
saying,
yeah. That part
he's
was
saying I'm
amazing.
Sabzi, and they're saying who, and he says I'm Makmal Buff, and then they realize. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
part was, I think, that's so great. I mean, you really don't need to do a lot of things, but little
yeah,
things
yeah,
change
Yeah.
the entire
Ah,
film. I think
yeah.
that's one of
Definitely,
the
definitely.
best
yeah.
moments.
I think the only I remember telling you that the only reason I didn't think that it's deceitful as such is just because it's way too sincere to be deceit, like
I
about
mean,
deceit.
exactly what I was pointing out to, because in that sincere nature, it is pointed like it's put under the tag of a documentary as such, right? In general, if you look at it, I thought if you're dramatizing the whole thing, for me, that is not really documentary. If you're like actually dramatizing those events,
Mhm.
I mean, for me, that is why I thought it's like deceitful in that nature, because he's most of the moments are like replayed, right? They're like reenacting the whole thing, which is why I thought it's like the full deception thing works for me. I
No,
don't know.
I think
Uh,
it's there completely. Like I agree with you. Like
mm-hmm.
the divide between deception and reality and all that is definitely there. I'm
Yeah.
with you. I just think
Mhm.
I think Kiarostami has this special knack, which I don't think,
Mhm.
you've got on one extreme, you've got like the Jean-Luc Godards who are like
Mhm.
really like playing with formal techniques
Mhm.
and all that, and like are very
Mhm.
playful with all
Mhm.
this stuff. And on the other hand, you've got like mainstream, whatever, like, Hollywood, classical Hollywood cinema, complete
Mhm.
emotionally driven and all that. Yeah,
Mhm.
Kiarostami, like from whatever work I've seen of him, like places right in the middle, where he's like,
Right.
he's playing with form,
Mhm.
and playing with, these techniques of, metaness and like deception.
Yeah,
Film is
yeah,
deceit. But what, like, why I always like connect with his films more than, like, say, the French New Wave sometimes is because I think he does really care about the people he's documenting. Like, I
yeah.
think those come like
He's
that
more
the
empathetic towards them, which is definitely the biggest case in Close Up.
which is why I think the close up is not just like the formal technique. It's more to do with
Mm.
actually
Mm.
closing up on one person. And this is again from
Totally.
whatever I remember. I don't have a
What do you guys
perfect
think
memory.
of Certified Copy?
Haven't seen.
I like it. I mean, but I haven't like I
Was
just
Certified
watched it.
Copy his last film, or 24
No, I
frames was
think
his last film?
24 frames.
Okay, okay. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead,
24
Arijit.
frames. Yeah, no. So I had like watched it once, and I was like, I mean, fairly liked it, the concept and all that, but I
Hmm.
haven't thought about it that much. But
Are
I
you
think
reminded of some Texas filmmakers movie?
Malik.
No, not Malik.
no,
What?
Uh,
I think
The
he's
Linklater.
thinking of
last part of a
Linklater.
trilogy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
I
Linklater is
heard.
from Texas, na?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two filmmakers I know, Linklater and Malik, I think,
Yeah.
and
What?
Winter is
Even
also from Texas,
fucking
I
Wes
think.
Anderson is from Texas.
Is he?
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
know.
He's from
Okay.
Austin. All of them are from Austin.
Okay.
Owen Wilson, Luke Wilson.
Hmm.
They two are friends. Yeah. Tarantino is also from Texas, na? I think, I don't know.
Oh wow.
I think he was
Okay.
born in Tennessee, but
Yeah, but
I don't know if
then
he was.
spent his childhood in Los Angeles, no? No.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I like that concept of it again comes there that his idea of cinematic realism and realism, like uh,
Mm-hmm.
two people who are playing a couple in a movie,
Yeah.
they're not actually a couple, but
Hmm.
they're acting, because suddenly it just goes into that form where they suddenly play
Yeah.
acting as if, and they seep into each other's life, and she's like, why have you done this, and very like naturally, without an explanation and all that,
Okay.
they've
Yeah.
become fond of each other. So I think again, Kiarostami is, but I didn't get much other than that. I think that's because I haven't thought about it after that. I had watched it, I liked it fairly, and I just went in
Hmm.
blind, so I was not very familiar with who he is and all that. So I had watched it long ago. Yeah,
So,
it was
so
good.
I am unaware about this. I've not
Mhm.
seen most Iranian greats, legends movies, but there is this movie called A Separation also, right? So,
Mhm.
is this docu-fiction thing only specific to Kiarostami, or is it like a
No.
Iranian thing in
No,
general?
it's specific mostly to Kiarostami, Makhmal Buff,
Hmm.
Jafar Panahi, all of them.
Panahi.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Asghar Farhadi is very different. He's full
Okay. This is what I
full
wanted
dramatic, full
Yeah.
drama and
Yeah.
full
to
melodrama.
the separation and everything, right?
Separation.
Like-
I think he plans his films very well because that blocking and staging is fantastic. The way
Okay.
and the way he edits and builds tension.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Within seconds, the tension will be like full in a scene, and then within seconds it will like calm down. And so,
But
Farhadi
Iranian
is very
cinema
different.
still has that tag of that document plus fiction.
But they
Is it
have
because
to
of
do
these,
now, like
these guys only, right?
because it began out of
Along the way.
necessity, like censorship
Hmm.
and all that stuff.
Less budget and
industry.
everything, constriction,
So
whatever.
started out of necessity, and I think they do it pretty well. Jafar Panahi, I
Hmm.
love personally, like the way Offside, like what a
Dhruv's
film.
favorite.
Yeah, he just goes to stadium and
Um,
just keep. I mean, and a football fan is definitely going to love it. Any football fan,
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
they're just going to lap it up. Same with
Yeah.
I think Makmal Buff. He did that film, Moment of Innocence. It's
Hmm.
also almost in a very similar style to Kiarostami's, like realism
And one more thing, how different
yeah.
are these from the Italian neorealist movies?
yeah.
I mean,
think they're pretty-
I've seen.
Yeah, then they're
I've
pretty
also
different.
not
I think.
discovered a lot of Italian neorealism films and everything.
Uh-huh.
But from whatever I've seen, Bicycle Thieves and everything, I could
Mhm.
spot the differences. But
Mhm.
pertaining to the context of the like
Mhm.
leaving out the context in general,
Mhm.
do you think if a director migrates to another industry
Mhm.
and makes something like Close Up, would it still work, or is it very specific to Iranian audiences lapping up to
Isn't
all these?
Certified copy. That's like it's not
Okay.
an American. It's like
It's French.
European, French. Yeah.
Almost
Okay,
European.
okay.
Mhm.
And
It's
so
got
does
Juliette
Farhadi for
Binoche.
even Farhadi migrated, no, for the Javier Bardem and
Somebody
Penelope
knows
Cruz film.
or nobody knows.
Everybody,
Spanish.
everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Nobody knows his corrida, Karthik.
Corrida.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was just curious about this because I lack that.
No, but the Italian,
Hmm.
your question is actually very interesting because the Italian, both of them actually started out of necessity. No? The Italian
Hmm.
neorealism is also after the World War II. Italy was like devastated. They had no industry, no film, like no money and no budget, less budget. So these people like Rossellini and Vittorio De Sica, so they just took a camera, they went to locations because they didn't have studio and all that. So they just went to locations. They took people out of like just random like natural people and just told them like that kid in Bicycle Thieves, Enzo Stiola. So just tell them to act, and even they used to record sound on location, and later they used to replace with dialogue, etc. And so so it both of them born out of necessity, but approach is very different.
Isn't that the case for most movements? Don't you think parallel Indian cinema was also
I think,
driven by necessity?
yeah, mostly, but mostly necessity. But parallel Indian cinema, was it? I mean, I have to think.
Like from the 50s of it.
I mean, Satyajit Ray and all. Satyajit Ray didn't do it out of. I don't think he was, because at that point of time, Bengali film industry was pretty good and all that.
Then
but
what
he
about
just,
the 70s when like Shyam Benegal was like the known iconic name?
I'm not sure about Shyam Benegal, so
Okay.
Dhruv can
No, I'm also not.
I've seen
Sanjeet Sanjeet is a much better.
I've seen, but I'm yet to read up on the situation and everything. I haven't read up on the context of. The
Yeah,
whole
I'm
thing.
also not very sure. I just know of
I've
these,
seen the 70s Benegal and Govind Nihalani movies and everything. They were quite radical
They were
and
a
very
duo,
specific to that
like
times also. Sorry?
Nihalani was his. They were a duo, na? Nihalani was
Yeah,
his
DOP.
cinematographer.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in like at least from whatever I know about international cinema movements, it's like the ones that we know of at least. A lot of them get born generally out of a way to like establish themselves as something.
Yeah.
So like it'll generally be in opposition to whatever mainstream was at
New
that point
identity,
of time.
right?
Yeah. So mainstream culture and just opposite to that. But I think there's ways in which people integrate that more or like deviate differently. Like Godard,
Kind of
though,
a response.
it is very much so. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Godard though did it like he has like a whole manifesto, not manifesto, but he has like a thing where like he deliberately like goes out of like Hollywood
Uh,
conventions
uh,
and
uh,
everything.
uh,
So like all
Hmm.
that stuff is
That was very, very particular
Godard is
for his intention.
yeah.
I
Godard
think
is
that
like
was
legend.
like, I don't know if it was Godard, it was like the
Uh-huh.
Cahiers du Cinema guys, right?
No,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Godard's was this thing specifically. He will take the Hollywood stereotype and what Dhruv was mentioning that he will break it. And
Yeah.
he will take the Humphrey Bogart and then he will break it to a character like Humphrey Bogart in a noir would be like this cynical guy, but
Hmm.
he would be empathized with kind of. But the same thing done by Belmondo in Breathless, he won't be empathized. Like he's a
Yeah.
criminal, so he's a criminal. There's
Doesn't
nothing
he look
dramatic
at a
about it.
Humphrey Bogart poster at one point?
Yeah, that's because Godard is a big Humphrey Bogart fan. He loves Hollywood noir, and Breathless is his tribute to.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of his crime films, all of them are actually you can say a rip off of those
Yeah.
40s noir.
Yeah, I think it's like the whole tribute and deconstruction at the same time, right? It's
Exactly,
the whole
deconstruction.
yeah,
Yes, that's the word.
Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, but it's a
Okay.
tribute also. Like I think the whole Humphrey Bogart thing where he's like trying to like smile like him or whatever, like he's trying to look like him, which is also like
There's remember that iconic scene in Masculine Feminine. So he's trying to flip the cigarette and put it in his mouth, and he's failing it every time because Bogart used to flip the cigarette and put it, and so he's trying to do that also in. So, and
yeah,
the
yeah,
way Godard jump cuts
yeah,
and
yeah. He's very much like the. I mean, anyways, we can go on about Godard later. Sanjeet, go ahead. Second recommendation. We've gone from like Iranian cinema to French
No,
New Wave.
this is like better than whatever I'm going to talk about. But
Not
anyway,
really, but yeah.
yeah, shut up, Karthik. But the next film that I really liked that I saw was Little Murders. It's directed by Alan Arkin. So it's from that 70s New York indie movie type movement whenever that was happening, right? All these filmmakers coming and
How did you find it?
Criterion.
Where?
What where?
In the watch list?
Was it in the watch list? Just appeared
Yeah,
in
because
the
I
movie?
added it.
Okay, buddy, I'll give you 10 rupees for that. No, so it was really, really good. Like I really enjoyed it. It's like a black comedy of sort. But it's like fun. And later I read it's based on a play and all of that. Like interestingly, it's produced by Elliot Gould and everyone. But interestingly, it was supposed to be directed by Godard, and then Elliot Gould told like he didn't like Godard's attitude, and then Alan Arkin came into the picture, and there were like other things, and it's brilliantly shot by Gordon Willis. Like the camera work is absolutely fantastic. So what happens in like mostly films that are adapted from like stage plays and all, right? They become like too stagey also in a way when they are like shot, right? And Gordon Willis makes it very seamless with his camera work. It's like full like movement and everything. It reminded me a lot of Ray's camera work in a lot of his films, like how it tracks from one person to another person in the same shot. So that was really fun. I mean, and the third one that I'd like to recommend is Managaram. It's a Tamil movie directed by Lokesh Kanagaraj. I think this was his debut film. So it's like a hyperlink kind of a movie, but it's really fun. I think if you buy into it's the hyperlink is mostly like the whole chance thing of intersecting storylines, right? So if you buy into the whole chance thing of this film, I think you're going to enjoy it. It's like the same hyperlink, different people, but it's like a commentary on the city life, the Chennai life, and everything.
How is it compared to something like say Ludo?
I think Ludo is still different. I wouldn't say it's
I'm
like
saying
as hyperlink.
in terms of like, I was like asking that only like in terms of comparing the structure, hyperlink structure. So like,
no, I think Ludo was more slapstick comedy at times, right? Or like screwball, whatever.
Mostly.
Managaram was more like a thriller, crime thriller. In that.
Oh, okay.
So that hyperlink is like two, like couple of storylines intersecting each other, and it's like
that. I mean, I got reminded of the Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu thing. Amores Paris, I think.
I
Or
was-
he did these hyperlink stuff before. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if
I don't know if I could compare it to that, but this is
Hmm.
slightly different, I think.
okay.
I mean, there is like one side of Tamil cinema which is a different exploration. This is slightly different exploration of that part.
Hmm.
But this was quite fun. I think if you buy into the whole thing which I just said, the whole chance thing of X character meeting that Y character and somehow, storylines intersect. So I mean that this was it's quite fun. I think I sort of enjoyed. So I wanted to keep it diverse and like different languages. So I put Tamil film and one Iranian film and
Does it have this one like the Lokesh Kanagraj signature, right? Action and full boiled, hard boiled stuff like Kaiti or I'm not going to master.
there is some
like
of it.
Kaiti.
There is some of it. There is some of it, but it's not like very out like blown out action, which is
Yeah,
it is
Kaiti
stylized
like has this
in that sense.
hyper stylized. Yeah, okay.
But it's not like Kaidi. Kaidi was I think the most, and then Master is also kind of whatever
Master
he did.
is to because let's not.
I mean, yeah, whatever. So I mean, these are my recommendations. I mean, for special mention, I'll put Wild Tales, which I watched now.
That's special mentions. Wow. I thought you liked it
Fantastic
more than
film.
special mentions.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's a
wanted to keep it
fantastic film.
diverse, so I just wanted to put like
Got it.
everything in it. So
Yeah. The first shot in Wild Tales. I mean, a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of them
yeah.
are great, but
I
yeah,
mean,
the first.
Yeah.
I watched the first shot with Karthik like long back during college when we were making one short film,
Yeah.
and we wrote something, and then someone told us it's very. I think Karthik only told ki it's very.
No, I
silly.
didn't say. I hadn't seen it at that point.
Someone else
Somebody
told,
else
right?
told.
Someone
Yeah.
else told, yeah. And then we watched the first shot, and then we were like, oh, this is like exactly the same as what we wrote, and then we just went ahead and made it anyway.
Yeah.
But then I finally watched the whole thing in September.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, special mention, but like Dhruv or
Isn't
Arijit.
like Ricardo Darin great? I love that guy.
Yeah. That shot was amazing. I think that one shot I was really like loving it. The where he goes to negotiate the price, where this kid goes and like kills this lady on the road, and then he comes back, and this whole thing becomes about negotiating the money. And the father of the kid is like, no, I am not going to pay. You take the kid now. that was really really good shot. Even the last one was like really good. The marriage,
The wedding one.
wedding
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, fun, quite fun. It was really good. Yeah. Arijit
Yeah,
or
Pedro
Dhruv?
Almodovar like produced this
Go
film.
ahead.
I love when
Yeah,
Almodovar.
Almodovar produced it. Yeah. That is why I was wondering, is it like that because I knew Darren was in it, so I thought this is like Argentina cinema, and then I saw Almodovar and everything I corrected. But anyway, someone else go ahead. Arijit, you go ahead now.
Okay. So the first recommendation is going to be a film from Pakistan. It's a horror film. It's called Zinda Lash. Yeah, so its English name is The Living Corpse. So this is a adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, right.
It was made in
60s, right?
1967.
Oh.
Yeah, 1967. And like Pakistan's the film industry based in Lahore, it's called Lollywood. So yeah, so that was flourishing at that point of time, and this film is famous. It's almost a landmark film in many ways because at that point of time we know how their authoritarian regime of Ayub Khan and all those censorship and all those things. So they adapted this Dracula, and they kept some of the elements from the novel and some of the elements they took from the Hammer production, the one that was made in UK.
Okay.
The UK version of Dracula, and they also incorporated some of the local Pakistani like folkloric elements, like because like you can't have Dracula in Pakistan scared of a cross, right? So you have to do it in some way, other way. So they use it. So I'm not saying what it is. So, but it's when a film released, so they were like, I mean, this is so they said the audience were like said like this is too scary. And people actually fainted in theaters, and a lot of them were traumatized. And this is also the first film that received the censor. The censors didn't agree actually to release this film first, but then they said, okay, we'll do it one time and never make this kind of film again. And yeah, so they gave them the X certificate, the adults only. X certificate, and that's the first Pakistani film to get this. This is actually the second Pakistani horror film. The first is Deewana. This is the second one, but it's technically it's a landmark because of this adult certificate and all that. So I mean, fairly. I mean, now maybe if someone is watching this today, they might feel some of the elements are dated because we have watched so many adaptations and all that. But if you see it in that context, it's fantastic with the production and like I said, the elements they have used, like contextually, a Dracula in Pakistan has to be defeated with whatever they have in that area in Lahore, and the characters are changed slightly because they are showing that people are sitting in and there's a get together in the family and they're discussing about something supernatural. So it's slightly different in that context, but some of like the camera works, like black and white shadows, and there's a shot that this protagonist, so the Jonathan Harker character, so he's looking through a spider web, and there's like slightly sunlight falling from the top, lighting his face halfway. So all those things they tried at that point of time, and it's usually films because now Bangladesh, that was East Pakistan at that point of time, so it was one whole country. So usually Urdu films were not given. I mean, they were like centralized to the west side only, but this was a massive thing. So even in the title credits, you see one written in Urdu, the other written in Bengali. So it was released in both the wings. Yeah.
Okay.
So so now it has almost become, then it got lost because things changed and Pakistan film industry also changed and everything. Now it has almost become, there's a American distributor, Mondo Macabro, they have picked it up and they have released it in DVD. And yeah, so now this has become cult, and anyone who loves horror or Dracula genre, and anyone who wants to explore the Dracula thing in subcontinental aspect, they should definitely watch this film. It's a fun, totally fun ride.
Yeah. Is
We
it
talked
just
about
available?
the Hammer. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Karthik. I was just asking if it's available only in like DVD format. Then.
Yeah, it's only available in DVD. I think there's a good copy. I checked. Actually, I posted about it, so a lot of people kept asking. So I went to YouTube and checked, and yes, there's a print available on YouTube with subs.
Perfect.
Usually, yeah. So anyone watching from this like subcontinent, I don't think they will need the subs. But yeah, there's a print available on YouTube with subs. And yeah, it's recommended. It's
But
really
like, what is the similarity to the Hammer one though?
the main storyline is more or less closer to the Hammer one, except like I said, like see, you can't have a crucifix scaring away a Dracula, or I mean, the concept of coffin is also changing. Although although the religious aspects both are Abrahamic religion, but the coffin concept is also changed. Other than that, more or less, I think it's same. It's actually closer to the Hammer production. Obviously, the main concept is from the novel, and certain things they have. I'm not saying actually the Pakistani aspects because that might be a spoiler. I'm not sure exactly. That's why I'm not saying what they have taken from the folklore. Yeah. All right. So the second film I'm going to say, it's a Jamaican film. It's called The Harder They Come. And yeah, it's the first Jamaican film to be made by Jamaicans, right? And it also has Jimmy Cliff. So we all know like the musician. Yeah, Jimmy Cliff is the protagonist here, and it's also a film that was made in like a very low budget. And it's in a way, it's very funny. You mentioned we spoke of neorealism. It's almost like a Jamaican neorealism, right? Because it starts that way, that the protagonist is coming from village to the city, and people are sitting in a bus, the way the Jamaican people in 70s used to be. So he has brought some mangoes from his village, and they're like, hey, you are having a nice mango, give me one, and they're sharing it. And he comes to the city in search of a job, and music was a big thing at that point of time. Reggae music especially. And so this guy, Jimmy Cliff's character, so he wants to be a a singer, and he goes to a studio and sees these big honchos at the recording studios, and they make him record, and they say, no, I'm just going to pay you $20. And he's going to say, it's my song, you're going to pay me $20. And he said, then okay, then you go independent. And then no one wants to buy it, obviously. So he's like the mafia kind of there, and then it moves into a different crime aspect, but it's fun because of the music. And I mean, if you enjoy a Bob Marley, say if anyone is a Bob Marley fan, then just for the music you can watch the film. And obviously the performances are nice. There's a nice little Django reference, like in the very beginning of the film, these people, they go to the theater and they're watching Django. And
film, right?
Yeah, this was Sergio Corbucci Western. So and there's the Jimmy Cliff character asks his friend, like, hey, is Django going to like die? And he says, the hero can never die until the last reel, right? And I'm not saying it, but it has a direct connection to the film too. So it's also kind of self-referential there. And so it's shot in the streets. Even you can see actually some people looking into the camera, like they're wondering what is this, and it's moving through the streets. And there's a very fantastic shot, which is my favorite part of that. He's standing near the end of the city. All of those junks and scrapes are there, and the scavengers are flying over it, and the camera pans slowly and sees childs picking up scrapes, and they moves slowly more to the right, and then sees the rat pickers there loading it in the truck. And the Jimmy Cliff is looking at all of these from like very distant, and there's music playing in the background. It kind of sums up all those dreams and hopes and people who come from small town to a big town to make it big, and then slowly realize that it's just going to that junk. So and there's another interesting trivia twist, that this film was restored by the Prasad Labs, the one in Hyderabad. So they restored this film. This was also a lost film. So so they restored the film, and now it's almost like a cult classic. It is actually available on YouTube for free in good, nice quality.
Is it there on movie also or no?
It's there on Movie UK.
Okay. Because I thought
you can watch it in YouTube. It's available in a very pristine, full print. Nicely restored print. And everyone should definitely watch it. And the third film, I think I'll just recommend something Japanese, because I love it so much. So no, I'll just say, because this is autumn, so I say Ozu film. So the one I watched on the day of equinox, it's called Equinox Flower. And so that it was equinox, and I don't remember equinoxes and solstices that much, but on that day I was like, oh, today is equinox, so I have to watch something related, and the Ozu film came to mind. It's Equinox Flower. It's Ozu's first color film, and I mean I'm not saying something new. I think this is very well known. Ozu never married, never had any such connection, romantic involvement, something like that, but he understood family relationships, values, being in a family, the complications when a daughter grows up, the tensions they have with the father, and how the mother is stuck in between, all these things, and in such a delicate manner. I mean, so sensitive portrayal, and you can't help feeling that you are a part of this family. I'm surprised how Ozu does this with every film. And he doesn't even move the camera, it's just tatami shot, plain static, low shots, cutting it away. And this film is more because Japan was, by that time, I think it's in 1957 or 1958, by that time Japan was moving towards a more Western approach, I might say, because the corporates were coming in and it was slowly moving away from the conservative thoughts. And it was with the American occupation, it was also being influenced by the Americans. And Ozu shows them those neon lit buildings, those corporates, and it also reflects in the film's nature, as in the daughter wants to marry someone she loves, and she's like, the parents don't understand what we want. And the parents are like, the children these days, they don't listen to parents. They do whatever they want. That kind of pull, like the old are slowly
Yep.
fading away. They're still not understanding. And this is, I think, the first film where I saw that Ozu is more towards the younger generation. Like mostly
Okay.
earlier we used to be empathizing with the older people. Tokyo Story, for example, or Let's Bring. But this was where I saw that he was more with. He was like the old people. The conservative generation is still stuck to the nostalgia and past, and they're refusing to move on when we are moving towards a more American society. And maybe Ozu saw that pretty early. Of course, him being such a brilliant artist. And yeah, so it's and even this one more thing, that he had shot all his films lifelong in black and white, but this is his first film in color. But the colors are so nice, like full pastel color vibes and well lit. The color codes, even the costumes, like the parents are always wearing this simple plain colored dress, but the children are wearing with polka dots or with flowery prints or with checks to like distinguish them. Yeah, so it's simple, but it goes deep. Yeah, I totally love that. That is also a recommendation.
No, I think so going to Ozu, like I only got the chance to watch some of his silent films recently on Criterion itself. And they're so different to like what the perception of Ozu is though. Like, that's like the films of someone who really, there's like dynamic camera work and everything, and like it's about like students
totally.
laughing and everything. And it was really like surprising to me. I was like, oh, I
mean,
had
he's
pictured
referred to in
Ozu
a
in a
different context, no? Though?
sorry.
He's referred to in a different context in like in most places,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like
think
with Bresson and
yeah, with the whole Presson and who's the other guy?
No,
Or
there is
Dryer,
this.
sorry, yeah.
Dry.
Yeah, there is this misconception actually. Once a friend actually told me like that Ozu is like he was averse to Americanization. I said no, that's wrong. That's a misconception, because if you watch early Ozu, the one that you said, like those tracks and on those fans, and actually Ozu was a Hollywood fan.
Yeah.
He used to watch a lot of Hollywood movies. He was a 30s Hollywood fan totally. I think there was one of those films. There was this boxer. We see that in the boxing, there's a full Hollywood film, full size poster in that gym, and he shows his adoration for those Hollywood films of those time. I forget the name. I think it was. Yeah, I forgot the name. It was one of those.
Yeah,
So,
but I think there are a couple of films like that are like properly like noir cinema. Like there's like I haven't seen them yet, but I know that they are like properly inspired by like classic Hollywood almost.
Totally. The crime dramas and
Yeah,
all.
Have you guys seen How Green Was My Valley?
I haven't.
Is it the John Ford film?
Yeah, it's referenced in Nayak.
It's a John Ford film, no?
Yeah. So like
No,
you
I
remember
haven't
Nayak when this guy goes to the compartment for the first time. There's like an older Bengali family, and then the guy is like,
You
have
don't
you
make
guys
films
seen?
like that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says. Yeah.
And he references this movie, How Green Was My Valley. In fact, that's like a very Ozu type film, and actually predates Ozu. I think like maybe Ozu was kind of like inspired by that. Even that is like about family and everything. It's like John Ford, like he's known for westerns and all, but this was like a very. It is still happening in the West, but it's like very family oriented. It's like a very Ozu type of film, although it's not short like Ozu or anything, but still.
Yeah, I get it. You mean like more the family drama?
Yeah, it's like it's got kids and like there's a father and there's like a.
John Ford was actually, I think, very much also he was fascinated about this family thing, because even in the Searchers, which is you mentioned the Western thing, even it's mostly about. I mean, there are theories that the John Wayne character, but I mean the daughter he rescues. So it's actually the John Wayne character's daughter. So there are theories also and papers and all that written about that. So yeah, like why is he so attached to that girl? So yeah. So even like
I didn't really understand that movie. Like I didn't really get what is the.
It's I think, I mean, should I quote Scorsese's thing because he explained it pretty well actually. He said that it's a kind of film that helps people not familiar with the racial discrimination of the original Americans who are called the Red Indians. Yeah, so in a way, it helps people understand at that point of time that still Americans were biased towards the Red Indians, and that's a way to. I mean, some people confuse. Like according to Scorsese, some people think that Ford himself was a racist, but that's a misconception because yeah, Ford was trying to put that key. I mean, Red Indians are also humans, and they're also trying to survive in the Old West. So,
but I think like stuff. I don't know about the other stuff because they are very different movies, like Stagecoach and all. But this movie, especially, it's almost like a, I don't know if you call it a melodrama, but it's like extremely family oriented. Like this movie, How Green Was My Valley. I just saw it maybe like 2 months back. It's literally just about a family and like, like a, what do you call it? Blue collar? Is that what you call it? Working class family in the American West. And it plays out just like an Ozu film. Like, what's that movie with the kids and all?
Good morning. Yeah.
Yeah, Good Morning. Yeah.
Not like that exactly, but still, it's like the family in late spring or whatever.
Okay. Wow, that is interesting actually. John Ford being an Ozu.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a direct inspiration, but then
no, I get it. Maybe not, because Ozu was not known at that point of time in America. So, yeah.
No, but I'm in general interested. Or like I've yet to watch a lot of Ozu, but like the color films will be super interesting just for me, just because like I'm like the whole black and white goes so well with like whatever simplicity thing his films are very simple in terms of aesthetic, right? So I don't know how like the idea of just bringing color into his films is so interesting in general. I think like how he does it and etc. like that way. So I'm looking forward to watching Equinox Flower.
Yeah, I
but
think
like
even in Equinox Flower, that is also one aspect, that I mean, Ozu understood that I have to go into color because times are changing and one has to adapt. And
yeah, so
it's
that
also the undercurrent of the
the mimics the whole thing you're saying about the generational thing, right? Got it.
Yeah.
No,
Makes
I
so
mean
much sense.
Criterion Collection, all Ozu stuff they have because I've been digging through it myself.
I mean, the whole thing is on YouTube also.
All of the Ozu
Is
films.
it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So
I mean, the
YouTube.
obscure Ozu and stuff, like, I don't know if Late Spring and Tokyo Story are on there, but I've definitely seen like, what is that? Good Morning and Equinox Flower and stuff there.
Okay.
Even like, there was this movie with a very long title, Chrysanthemum.
No, are you saying that one? Flavor of green tea.
Flavor of Green Tea Over Ice. Yeah, that's definitely there. Like, it's just been on YouTube, like all these movies.
So like this is region specific or like where like
I think so, because like Japanese stuff, it somehow gets on there. I saw Cure for the first time on YouTube. Just the Kiyoshi Kurosawa film.
Yeah, that has received like
Criterion,
restoration.
Right?
It premiered at New York.
Okay, it premiered at NY5 then. Okay. Okay, so I'll move on to mine then, right? So yeah, I've got mostly contemporary releases actually, not like post 2010s, and two of them are actually from last year and this year. So I'll go like according to the years that way. The first film is Julia Loktev's The Lonely Planet, released in 2011. So this is a fairly obscure film, I think. Like it didn't get a big release or anything, though it's got our old actor in it. Old as in like the M. Night Shyamalan old. Gail Garcia Bernal. Yeah, and a fantastic performance from Hanny Furstenberg also, who's like the second lead. So it's the film is basically about like this couple who go on like a hiking trip to Georgia, and the film is like partly in English, partly in Georgian, partly in Spanish. So like it's a mixture of all the languages in that sense. But there's barely any dialogue, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Okay.
But it's basically like this hiking trip they go on, and then there's this one incident that changes their whole relationship. So it's very much like inspired, not inspired. I'll be told that this is wrong, but it inspired, it seems like, a lot of Ruben Östlund's work. Force Majeure is like a proper successor to it in ways, about the whole one incident changing like the whole dynamic between two people who otherwise seem perfectly fine together. And I was told by someone that there's a definite Kelly Reichardt influence also, and which I agree with. Just if anyone has seen her Kelly Reichardt's Old Joy, and Certain Woman, even Meek's Cut Off, like all of them are like quiet in like a very expansive landscape, which is also a lot with the Lonely Planet thing. But the crucial thing in that is in Lokhtev's film is that there's one incident after which some like the dynamic changes in a way which is much subtler, I think, than it would be in Ruben Östlund's film. So in a way, like if you're into meditative sort of quiet films about how easily people can change and like how their foundations, like their relational foundations with each other are rooted in something that's very easily shakable, like all that sort of internalized drama part of it, I think you'd really like this film. Have patience though. It like the build up to the incident is very, very slow and long. I think it's purposeful, but it might test one's patience. And but yeah, if you're in for ambiguity and like just wanting to experience something that will keep you thinking about it for a long time, I think that's a very it's a good recommendation, I think, for people interested in that sort of cinema. The other two are, so the second one is Pete Docter's Soul, which is kind of like, it's a very conventional recommendation, but like I only got to see it this year. I'd been putting it off for a year almost, because Inside Out left me in the biggest emotional wreck I think I've ever had. So I was very like cautious of going into Soul, just because I was like, this is going to have like a similar impact and destroy me. Well, luckily it didn't, but it's still very like, it hits like Pete Docter's films, I think in general, especially Inside Out and Soul, have like this ability of addressing deeply complex issues in the most innocent and simple manners. And that's not a criticism. Like they address it in a way where they're addressing the complexities. So like Soul is talking about what it means to die, which is like, imagine a children's film, like direct whatever, Pixar is like producing it and everything. Millions of people watch it, and it's about death and mortality and like what does it mean to live. Kind of like these big issues being tackled in animation itself. I think I genuinely admire how people approach these topics in like a mainstream conventional way. There are some problems I have with Soul, like minor problems, in the sense that it's the whole Inside Out thing it still hangs over it very much. Like you can very clearly see where, like which character is like a mirror image of someone in Inside Out, which I think is a bit of a distraction. And I think there's elements in this which it definitely feels like it's playing more overtly to an adult audience. I think Inside Out balanced the whole, thing about talking to children, but also addressing adults in a better way. But there's one scene in Soul that did almost sort of break me. So which is like I don't want to spoil it much, but it takes place in a barber shop. So whoever knows, whoever's seen it, I think knows the gist of it. And it's again, Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask, was like Pixar at some point I remember was only doing like very few films amongst certain set of years, right? But in the last 3, 4, or maybe like 5 years, haven't they've been like producing like a lot of movies now,
Yeah,
and they've been like kind of disposable.
yeah, I think that's the whole criticism with Pixar, right? Like it's got the whole Cars franchise, which is not as bad as I think people say. Like Cars 2 is
Yeah,
a
I love cars.
yeah, see, Karthik love. I mean, I only actually really like Cars 3, but Cars
What?
2 is a yeah. I don't. Cars 2 is a disaster, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I
I've not seen
saw Cars like when I was a kid though, like the first Cars, like that was really enjoyable. I think if you're seeing it as a kid.
yeah,
Hmm.
but I think the selling point of Pixar has always been that it's not just for the kids.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Uh,
but
Yeah.
I think like Cars, generally people look down upon it. Like the adults who review it and all, they say it's like lesser Pixar, but I don't think so. Like if you see it as a kid, like you really like Lightning McQueen and all that.
yeah, yeah. No, I
Like
mean the characters are still great, right?
it's literally like, you know, like those playing cars and they made a movie out of it, you know.
yeah. I
Yeah.
No,
I
what I
think
was
it's
actually pointing towards was that most of the films until some point
Mhm.
made by Pixar were very recognizable. Like you probably knew what
Yeah,
film came out.
the
I think,
pattern. Yeah.
but like I think the last few years that's not been the same case.
Are you talking
Like,
about Onward?
well,
actually, Onward,
yeah,
and there was
actually.
another movie, Good
I've heard
Dinosaur.
Luca is very good.
I've not
The
seen
new
that.
one.
I have not seen that, but I think that's
Huh.
what that has been happening, right? The newer films have become less impressionable. Like even
I
Coco
guess
was faced like a lot of criticism towards it. I
No,
feel.
I love
really, I
Coco.
thought
Coco
people
is
I
really
great.
watched
loved
Coco. I
Coco.
liked it. I liked
Yeah,
Coco. I'm not disagreeing with anyone. I liked
yeah.
Coco, but I remember there was like some sort of criticism around it that Pixar has been, recycling whatever their themes have been, and they've been doing it over and over again. And at that point, when Coco came out, that was the point they overdid like almost everything. And for post that also, it's
They
been
have
the same
a
case.
they definitely have a set formula. It's
I
just that if
enjoyed
you
Coco. But I didn't enjoy Onward, which came out I think last year.
I
But
haven't
yeah,
seen
go ahead.
onwards, but
But I
no,
think like even with the formula, Soul was like pushing it way beyond anything. Like it
hmm.
went into
Okay,
like a whole new territory
I have not seen
No,
it.
but
altogether, I
So
think.
Pete Doctor is like even within the Pixar formula, like it's the animation. He has carved out something. I mean, you watch a film and you know that it's
Yeah,
Pete Doctor kind of.
yeah.
I
I mean,
personally
up.
love. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Up actually. So yeah,
Up, yeah, I'm not sure.
Up or
But
Monsters
this
Inc.
this this
Monsters Inc.
movie, it starts out on one note. Like I almost thought it was gonna be about like jazz and like somebody into music and all.
At least the first
But
two,
then
3 minutes, yeah.
that kind of deviates like
Hmm.
very quickly. Like that just becomes like a side thing almost. It just goes into a whole new direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
No,
I
this.
actually found it even more cohesive than like Up. Like Up, I like it to a certain point.
Hmm.
Then I don't know.
No, I think no, I think it's with Soul. I think it's much more. I think it's much more geared towards an adult, though. I don't think like children
Hmm.
will necessarily be able to break through it, which is not me. Like, listen, I can understand like if that would feel offensive, but like genuinely, I think the weightier issues here are addressed in a way which I think Inside Out does better. Like to me, it does better just because it cuts through them in a way.
But they've
But
been like
was it
dealing
like
with these heavy topics like since a long time, right? Like even in like if you see, yeah, like if you see Inside Out or even like Finding Nemo, that deals with like grief and stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
it has, yeah.
No, it does deal with difficult emotions, I think, but this is like going into like I can imagine an art house version of Inside Out or like Soul going completely into like philosophical discussions about what it means to grow up and all that stuff, right? So I think they're doing it more overtly with their concepts now. Like, the concepts themselves are like very much front and center, whereas like in Finding Nemo, the adventure is front and center, and then grief is there.
Yeah.
These are like centered basically around like this plot of the film is like, what does it mean for Riley to grow up in Inside Out, or like what does it mean for a person to lose their life suddenly in Soul, which I think is like if someone is directly asking that question to the audience, it's, I think, demanding more of them.
Right.
Overtly, at
Makes
least.
sense.
That's
What do you guys think of Wall-E? Because I mean, that's also another Disney.
Yeah,
I
think
don't
that
remember so much of it.
that was
But
the
I
one
liked
where that was the one where people really, I know people who aren't Pixar fans also love Wall-E, just because of its ability to it was again talking about like, again, very dystopian, right? Because it's basically set in like a wasteland. And
Wasteland, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I probably have to rewatch it sometime, but I know it did work for me when I watched it a long time back. But what's the other Monsters Inc? I've again seen a long time back.
That's like a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, Toy Story. Sorry, why have I forgotten Toy Story all of a sudden?
Toy Story, that's the biggest
always addressed like bigger
selling
issues.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Toy Story is probably my favorite, along with Finding Nemo, I think.
Which Toy Story though?
I like all of them. I like 1, I like 2.
I've not seen the 3rd and the 4th.
You've not seen 3rd and 4th? Oh wow. Okay.
3rd is really good. I like 2. 2 is very underrated. Like
2 is
really
very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 is like it's not as high stakes as 3. Like, but it's really good. Like, I don't know why people don't talk about 2 that much.
I think my favorite is still Up. I don't know if that anything has come as close as that. The second would be Incredibles, I think.
Mine would be Monsters Inc.
Yeah, I love Monsters Inc.
I like Monsters Inc. Yeah. Most of them, like, I like. It's like I didn't like Onwards only very recently, and I haven't seen Good Dinosaur. So,
that I heard is not very good. Then Brave, I've heard, is not very good. No, it's not. It's
I don't
not
know.
bad.
Maybe
But like I've heard it's
I watched
good.
it in childhood, so maybe I enjoyed it at that point. Brave was, I think, when I was in class 8th or something. I don't know.
Oh, there's
I
one I
doubt
love.
it.
One of my favorites is Ratatouille. That's
Ratatouille was fantastic. Yeah.
fantastic film.
Yeah, you forget. Actually, yeah, that's the thing. Pixar's slate, you kind of forget some of them just because there is so much good stuff, I think, at least. So, so Soul is great, regardless of it's not my favorite or not. I think it's Pixar always gets to me emotionally, I think, which is like a big draw for me. So yeah, that's still not the best animated film of last year though, which I think 2 animation films are better than Soul.
Yeah.
The Wolf House and Wolf
Walkers,
Walkers, both wolves.
Okay, so basically, in the previous recommendation, I spoke about La Casa.
Yes, good. I've brought it on again. Yeah.
That is another recommendation, right? La Casa.
Yes.
For
La
anyone who's
Casa
interested in like art house animation.
And to get freaked out completely.
Horror.
Wolf House is that Chilean film, I think.
Yeah,
it's a Chilean.
Yeah, I have it watchlisted for a long time. I haven't watched. Someone recommended it to me. I don't know whether
I put it in the last episode. Last episode we recorded, which isn't out.
So last recommendation. Sanjeet also loved this movie. Paul Schrader's The Card Counter that released this year. So yeah, I mean, there's little to say about it, and firstly, it's also little to say in the sense that there'll be spoilers, and I don't want to spoil because it's just released recently and not even released officially actually online. So yeah, it's, if you like the God's Lonely Man template of Paul Schrader films,
man sitting in a room template.
Yes, if you like that, if you're for it, I think you will like it. Sanjeet, I think you differ a little bit here. Now you do. But I think if you like his work, and I think if you really like First Reformed, I think this is a great deviation / modification, if one wants to say, of that film. As much as the trailers try to portray it as like this slick heist film about cards and poker and whatever, and this is the drabbest gambling has looked in a while on screen, at least. So
I saw the trailer and I thought it's like he just stole it from Casino.
Oh yeah, that's the first impression anyone
Oh,
would get.
okay.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
completely opposite. Completely
There are
opposite.
hints of what it is in the trailer, but there is no indication of how much of a successor it is to like first
I
reform.
thought he stole it thoda sa from Casino, thoda sa from Hard Eight, and like because
Hmm.
I mean, first reform was
Some
also
part
like
I
that.
think Hard 8 is there. There are like some shots. I think after Casino Hard 8, this would still be one of those films that have shown like casinos and everything really well. I mean, shot well and everything.
Yeah, we don't get gambling films much.
Yeah,
these
Hard
days.
8 is like too obscure, guys. Nobody has really seen Hard 8.
Yeah, no, yeah. What are you saying, Karthik?
Paul Thomas
Completely
Anderson's
film.
Hard 8.
How is
Yeah.
it
You're talking
obscure?
about
Paul Thomas
Ozu and you're saying Hard 8 is more obscure than
Bro,
that.
have you seen
Okay,
Hard
no.
8, Sanjeet?
No, I have not seen Hard 8.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I have not seen doesn't mean it's obscure, no.
You've not seen Hard 8? I thought you were like a big PTA fan.
No, I
Yeah.
have
Hard
I have
8?
seen
It's a
Hard
funny
8, I have not
story
seen.
because the first time I found Sanjeet on Letterboxd, it was a PTA profile picture with looking into the camera. There's a Phantom Thread ka BTS.
Ah,
okay.
And
right.
I was like, "Arey, he's PTA fan, so I'll definitely follow this person." So I actually thought that he's a big PTA fan.
Yeah.
I am. But I have not
Well,
seen it.
what do you guys think about Hard 8 now that we are?
I love
anyway
Hard
PTA
8.
fan?
I saw it on my
love
phone.
I love everything by PTA.
Karthik, you can go back to sleep. That was better.
Nah, I'm actually sleeping.
Karthik,
But,
you have to say this on record that you watched Malaland Drive on iPhone.
No, man, but I actually had Hard 8 on my phone.
So you
Like,
used to
But you
watch
watched
it like every
Full
day.
time, no?
Yeah, I've seen it at least like 20 times. I know every scene from
Really?
time.
Okay,
I've probably seen Hard 8 more than anybody has seen it. More than
He's the
PTA
biggest
himself.
PTA fan that you'd probably
I think I
like
need
get
to
meet.
revisit then. I've never been the biggest Hard 8 fan. But that's the only PTA film I've never been like a big fan
It's
of.
not a it's like an extension of that other coffee
The
and
short
cigarettes
film.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
The short
okay.
film, yeah.
Or cigarettes and coffee, yeah.
Not
Okay.
coffee and cigarettes.
Coffee and cigarettes
It is
is the
Jim
Jim
Jarmusch.
Jarmusch.
Jim
Yeah,
Jarmusch.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no,
the
no,
card
PT
counter.
is-
No,
yeah,
I don't dislike card counter or anything. Like I don't like it as much as I did when I watched it in like whatever 10 days back.
Yeah.
Just because I rewatched First Reformed again and I thought that film was marvelous, and then card counter doesn't even stand in front of it.
Yeah, so I
That's the
think
only thing. I mean,
I
that's
think
the only-
then we are in disagreement there though. I think card counter is a worthy sort of companion piece to
But
first Reformed.
Sanjeet, if you like First Reformed, I'll tell you, I think you've probably watched it. You just watched Diary of Country Priest by Robert Bresson.
He just saw it.
And
very recently only.
yeah, and
Diary
Winter
of Country
Light by Ingmar Bergman. So
Yeah.
he just took those two films and mixed it up.
Yeah. The depressed
That too,
priest
Dhruv
trilogy.
only suggested me and Dhruv didn't like it. I remember.
I didn't like the Bresson one. Yeah, I like
Yeah, yeah.
Bergman. Yeah.
No,
But
but sorry, go ahead.
no, just Oscar Isaac. That's it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's fantastic. No,
Yeah, he's
I
phenomenal.
mean he fits that bill of that Schrader protagonist.
How
very well.
perfectly he fits, I didn't actually think he would. Like he's really like I think he could like substitute for a like if I could see him now in the First Reformed role and be like, oh,
very
he
easily.
fits.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, he's so good at like I think I've been thinking about the film fair amount. So like whatever he says, like the conviction with which he says it, I'm just like I can feel the internal sort of turmoil that you're going through. Though just to like add to there are differences to First Reformed. It's not just like him aping this, because like
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of like camera work stuff which is very expressive here, which I think is very productive. Like it's used very
It's
productively
the
in my opinion.
context of what the film is also, right?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it because the trailers don't mention it, so I'm not
Yeah.
just circling around what I'm saying. So yeah, any other card movies which are
No,
exciting?
I just had one question. In card counter, like, does the lonely man trope, does it get like predictable, or is it like a pattern kind of thing? It's has he like subverted that?
There is, I don't think there's that much of a subversion. I think it's, but where it ends up is No, it's not a subversion. I don't think so, at least.
It's not. It's not. It's
Where
very
it ends up is not a subversion, but there are elements in the film where it goes where you'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. But it's not. I think if you've seen Schrader's Lonely Man stuff, you fairly know where this is headed.
Yeah.
Though, yeah, I won't say more. The
No, but
context
good
is a
film,
bit.
no doubt. No, good film, no doubt.
I mean, Schrader is hit and miss for me. Like, I mean, even with his like, even when he writes screenplay, I mean, obviously, Taxi Driver is like that landmark. But Taxi Driver is like fantastic. But then I watched another film by him. I forgot that one. That the
Dog eat
guy's,
dog.
Doggy.
no, the guy's daughter runs off to in that pornography industry, and he chases.
Canyons.
Canyons.
What's that?
No?
I forgot.
Or is it like Light
Canyons.
Sleeper and all
No,
that
no, no.
stuff?
I've
No,
seen.
not like
There's nothing in
American
Light Sleeper like that.
No. I forgot.
Oh
the
yeah,
name.
autofocus.
Oh,
No, it doesn't sound like it. Anyway, so yeah,
I'm
so
pretty sure it's the canyons you're referring to.
But he's
no, it's
a-
called Hardcore.
oh, hardcore. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Was that his first film he directed?
Was it?
Is it?
I
Okay,
think
don't
so.
I mean, it's is it one of the ones which is about the God's Lonely Man only? Or is
I
it
think
like
it's one of his
different than
earlier films. I think it's his first film.
Yeah, it's kind of the. I mean, it's not like God's lonely man, but there's this kind of God is watching over you, and
Yeah.
there's this kind of the lonely man thing is there,
Okay.
but that's why I asked the question, because it radically shifts from Taxi Driver to, I mean, there's again the rescue thing that the man takes it up to rescue, but it's not something like I mean, Taxi Driver is very similar to Searchers, but it's not like that. It's obviously his own daughter, obviously he's going to search for her, but there's those elements of Catholicism and God watching over. Like there are literally top shots of like he's moving through those pornography industry and all that.
I think if like to me, Card Counter is like a mix of Taxi Driver and First Reformed. So that's like
That's
to me
a relief. I just thought that like from the trailer that I'm not
Oh
going to
yeah,
watch
yeah.
Casino
From the
Rehash
trailer.
again.
No, I saw the trailer and I told Sanjeet this is like one of his Facebook
Most trailers.
things coming to life, and I'm not in for watching that.
Oh
at
yeah.
all. Yeah, no, but this is like if you liked First Reformed, this is
But
like
Schrader
that to me,
whatever
minus the
screenplay with-
theology.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm done. Yeah.
No, but whatever Schrader's written with Scorsese, it's fantastic. Only even like the films that are not spoken about, like Bringing Out the Dead and all, I think like they're like really, really good. With whatever Schrader wrote.
No,
I think Schrader
I'm-
also wrote Last Temptation of Christ with Scorsese. I think.
I'm surprised how good of a director he is. Like I'd never thought he'd have like a very distinctive visual style. I mean, it's not distinctive really. It's a lot inspired by a lot of
Inspired,
people.
yeah. Completely.
Like really inspired by a lot of people, but like he uses it very effectively, I think. And yeah, it's no, I'm curious to know what people think of Card Counter though, because it's got a properly divisive reaction with fans.
Yeah, I saw most like the initial reactions I was seeing on Letterboxd that like people were like, this is not good, this is not good.
Yeah.
It's again same
No,
old
no,
thing.
it's good, but I think for me personally, I think when I watch First Reformed, then First Reformed feels much more superior to this, and this is just my opinion, because I like Card Counter at first. Maybe I need to rewatch to get what Dhruv is actually trying to tell. But Card Counter is actually pretty well done. It's not like
No,
a bad way.
but we discussed, right, that you are much less fond of the context around which it is.
But that is also
set.
like another personal choice, right? I'm not so much of a fan of that. Whatever
so we are just circling around it because we don't want to spoil it. So we can just end the Card Counter discussion. Yeah.
No, but the filmmaking is on point. Like I don't know how well to describe it. The camera work and all is exceptionally well done. Even the editing is fantastic. How the card and the game is like, and reaction shots to everything. It's like super well edited and everything. I mean, yeah, that's what Dhruv might want to say as well. But anyway,
No, it's fine.
Um,
Recommendation for the Schrader film is an automatic recommendation for a Bresson film, though. Just Robert Bresson, if anyone is like
yeah.
interested in his films, like this is like if
Okay.
you like Schrader, late Schrader, then go for Bresson also.
Yeah. It's also like
Yeah.
the book he has written Transcendental Style on.
Transcendental cinema.
Of,
Yeah.
film Ozu,
Yeah.
Bresson, and Dreyer. It's
Yeah.
a fantastic book. I was actually
Yep.
reading that.
Yeah.
And Shader,
Those
he
also
explains.
Yeah, I'm also reading that. Yeah.
Yeah, he explains those things pretty well. Like the way he
Yep.
starts, like what is slow cinema and
Oh yeah,
how is
that's fantastic.
Tarkovsky. Yeah, how is Tarkovsky different from the other slow
Yep.
cinema people? Like who,
Yep.
like how is Tarkovsky exploring time? And then he moves to show that chart. Like there's this
Yeah,
circle.
circular chart.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We will
explains
upload
all
it.
those.
Don't worry. Quid listeners. As in, like, we'll take a photo and upload it, like a photo of the chart. Yeah.
On Instagram. Yeah, sure.
On Instagram. Yeah.
It's fantastic
Okay.
actually. So yeah.
So pretty much the recommendations that the four of us have for the month of September. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Arijit, for coming on for this episode. You can follow Arijit on Instagram at what was their username? I forgot. It was
No,
Nostradamus.
don't follow
no?
me on Instagram. You follow me
Sorry,
on
sorry.
Letterboxd.
On Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Letterboxd. Yeah, that was Nostradamus, right?
Yeah, Nostradamus. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can follow Arijit on Letterboxd at Nostradamus. You can follow Dhruv at Dhruv Krishna Goel. You can follow me as Sanjeet Singh. You can follow Karthik at
Don't follow me.
KPN. No, please follow Karthik and comment.
I'll block you.
You don't even open Letterboxd these days, so you won't
Yeah.
even know who's following you. But anyway, you can follow Queen is Dead on Instagram at queenisdead.filmpodcast. You can DM your recommendations or any other suggestions that you have. You can follow us on Spotify. That helps us a lot to reach out to a lot of people. A lot of new episodes coming out in the coming few days, in the coming few months. Please follow us and share it with people. Thank you. Khatam.
Okay.